So let's get started. You know, honestly, like right now, my goal is to dig deep, give you as much value as I can, and come from a sincere place and move from there, and then collaborate as we get into this session. And I think you're going to find it very helpful. You know, obviously ADA and the CDA coming out that you can't, you know, see elective dental care cases for the next 3 weeks, right? I don't know if it's going to be for the next month, next 2 months, whatever it is. There is no cases that are elective of nature that they're recommending that you could see for a variety of reasons. So just to be clear, this session is not going to be about the do's and don'ts of coronavirus or how to take down a room, because you already know how to do that. Yes, we'll address some of those things, but I'm not a virologist, neither are you, but I know that we know more than most on infection control. So I really don't want to make this about panic. I want to move this into perspective, okay? And when I say that with a deep sense of relief, because if you want to learn about panic, you just go and you go online and you'll see everything on that. You go to CNN, you go to Facebook, you go to Instagram, and you got your panic dose right there. We want to make this about perspective because we want to move and lean into solutions. I think we've harbored and we've, you know, soaked ourselves into the pain for a while now. Now let's kind of move to solutions. I'm very outcome focused, solution focused, and I'm hoping that we can lead you to that end here, okay? So with that being said, the first thing I will tell you this. Yes, you can call it a quarantine, whatever it is, no dentistry for 3 weeks, but I want you to take a new perspective on this as we're starting off. I have like 10 things that I want to go over with you, and then we'll move forward and we'll do some collaboration. I think you'll find it very helpful. The first thing is this. It's really a pause, okay? It's really a pause. If you have a notebook, if you have something to write things down with, I think you'll find some nuggets in here. And I want you to see it as, hey, you know what? I'm pausing. That's really what it is. Why do I say that? Because take this time to center yourself. Take this time to say, you know what? I can now hang out with some of my goals, my dreams, some of my family members. Maybe I can hang out with these people. Maybe I can think about my business a little bit. I understand there's bills, there's payroll, there's a month of no collection, and there's patients canceled. I get that. I get it. I get it. And I know how it feels. But we can't change that. This didn't happen to you because you did something wrong. The ADA or CDA or your dental associate didn't come knocking in your door and say, oh, you got to close down. It didn't happen to you because of that. It happened because the whole world is literally on lockdown. I'm in Orange County, California. Literally, I got a text message today saying that, hey, all the restaurants are literally closed. They're closed. They're not even half seating. They're closed, and they can only do takeout. So it's like locked down for everybody. I know Boise is not there yet, but like that's how it is for us here. Now, that's where we really have to look at it and say, look, this is a pause. What do I need to do to kind of be centered, to be here? Because I can control my thoughts, my vision, my feelings about this. I can't control what's happening out there or what others are going to say. And I frankly can't even control what I can do in my practice right now because of the nature of things. I can't control the appointment book, the schedule. I just can't control that. I want you to soak in and be there with this pause and be like, you know what? I'm going to take this in. I'm going to take this in. I'm going to maybe do the things that I wanted to do. Maybe I'm going to educate myself. Maybe I'm going to go on that walk in the morning. Maybe I'm going to spend more time with my pet or my husband or my wife or my girlfriend or my boyfriend or my partner, whoever it is that's meaningful for you. Use this pause to be like, this is an opportunity for us to do something different and have a reset. And I'll tell you this, as you're doing this, your mind will tell you, and I just got this phone call the other day from a friend of mine, and he's like, oh, Ranesh, oh my God, this is crazy. But at the same time, there's so much opportunity. Oh my God, the market's crashing. This is happening. There's something is going to come out of this. Something good will come out of this. There's a major opportunity here. And to that, I say this. I don't think it's about the next opportunity. I don't think that's where we should be focused. It's, to me, more so about seeking the problems. Seeking the problems. And here's what I mean by this. What do I mean by seeking the problems? Now, you may be thinking, geez, Ranesh, I can look at my problems. I'm not having collection for the next month. I don't know what to do with my team. And we're going to go over that. I don't know how to keep them going. And we'll go over that too. But I'm asking you to not look at the problems you're having. I want you to look at the problems they are having. Your patients, your team, your family, those around you. I want you to move from this thinking of like, maybe there's an opportunity here, to let me see if I can solve a problem. Because I can tell you this, if you follow the path of your problems, it will lead you to an opportunity. If you follow the path of your problems, it will lead you to the opportunity. Now, if you don't do that, and if you're sitting there and you're thinking, geez, I don't know, maybe there's something else. Maybe I got to pick the next stock, I'm asking you to play the long game here. I'm asking you to play the long game. Why do I say play the long game? Because number three, dentistry is evergreen. Dentistry is not going anywhere. It will always be around. Dentistry is not, out of all the industries, the dental industry will not vanish like new technology comes out. It's not like these procedures will not need to be done, right? For as far as we can see, a person has to go in there, do some sort of arbitrage, whether it's, taking out the caries, going in there, prepping, whatever it is, that is still required. That human contact is still required. That's not going away. So can we agree that, hey, dentistry is not going away? It's still going to be there. Now, maybe this will go on for 2 months or 6 months. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. But personally, my take on it, for whatever it's worth, and I could be totally wrong, I think within 6 months, this will be resolved. Does that mean your office will be closed for 6 months? No. Okay, I don't think that it's going to be that long. I could be totally wrong. But the long game says, look, I may have a dip, but in the long run, if I'm focused on which problems I can solve for those around me, I will start to create a solution, and I will seek that opportunity, okay? Now, with that being said, I'm gonna talk to you about opportunities, but I don't wanna lead with that. I wanna lead with, hey, what's the problem? Now, for your patients, I can tell you this. As much as you are closed, every other dentist is closed too. So think about this. I'm in California, and 1 out of 5 dentists practices in California. So, we have 35 million people here in this state. So, if we're not open, the person down the street's not open, the woman down the corner, she's not open, and the guy down the block, he's closed too. All these patients are out of a dentist. Do you think that if no dental office is open, that there's not going to be, anyway, people are going to have pain. There's going to be emergencies. There's going to be sensitivity. This stuff is going to happen. It's just by the sheer volume. We've never experienced this. This is uncharted territory where, oh my God, everything's closed down. Well, we've never experienced this because all your offices have not been closed ever like this. So what's the next step? What's the next step? Well, if we understand that dentistry is evergreen, and the next step really is, how do I stay top of mind? How do I stay top of mind? How do I stay in front of my potential patients? Because I can tell you this, when this is done, there will be such a roaring influx of people wanting to get back into the practice. Things have been delayed. Recall cleanings, fillings, sensitivity, everything that's elective, and even some of the non-elective things, right? So for you to stay top of mind, you got to post content. You got to post content. And those of you that are in my mastermind, I beat this to the ground. We have our meetings every Wednesday, and I talk about content and posting content. but you have to get out there and post content. What does that mean? Well, the first thing you can do is you have a database. That is your greatest asset. Outside of your skill set, your database is your greatest asset, which means that, look, you have a patient base of maybe 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, whatever that is. You may have reached out to them already saying, hey, this is what's going on with COVID-19. This is what's happening. But now I'm saying, I want you to reach out to them and say, look, let's connect and let's stay in touch online. Follow me on, and the platform of choice right now is Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. And why do I say that? Because Instagram is very reactive. It's very viral right now. You get way more organic reach than you do with Facebook or anything else. And it's one email sent out to your patients, encouraging them to keep in touch with you on Instagram, right? And all that means is literally, going to your Instagram profile, and you'll see, I would just do stories. So stories are right there inside your Instagram profile. You would just click on that, and you want to post relevant content. People are not exposed to dentists right now. So what do you want to be posting? How to keep their health, intact. How to keep their teeth healthy while they're not seeing the dentist. Some ideas about your lifestyle, what you're doing behind the scenes, what your office is going through, what your practice is going through, how you've enjoyed serving that community that you've been a part of for so long. Excuse me, guys, just opening up the window here. How you've enjoyed serving that community that you've been a part of, and how you're gonna miss seeing patients, but you're ready to get back into it. And if you're gonna be doing an open for emergency care, let them know that. Let them absolutely know that. Now, I know I haven't talked about anything with virtual consultations or online dentistry. We're gonna get into that as well. We're also gonna get into your team and training and all that stuff. But you have to be posting content online. Instagram is where you should be posting it, and you send one email out to your patient base with a link to your Instagram profile saying, follow me here. I'm your doctor, follow me, let's stay in touch. If there's anything that comes up while this month or next month, just DM me, direct message me on the gram, and let me know what's going on. I'm there, I'm available for you. Just because we can't meet through, chair side, doesn't mean we can't meet screen side. Does that make sense? I want you to make them feel empowered that you can meet them screen side, literally, just because you can't meet chair side. If you don't do that, what happens is this: whether we close down for a month or two, hopefully it's not two, but I don't know, right? If you don't do that, what happens is you move out of their mind space, right? People always buy what's in front of them. Now, people always buy what's in front of them. I'm not saying that they're gonna be purchasing or getting treatment started right now, but if you can give them value, if you can go be a value creator, right? In this era right now of what's happening, then you will start forging your brand and your marketplace. Very important, very, very important. This is gonna lead to the next part of what we're gonna talk about, right? So I want you to kind of think about it that way. Now, the same thing can go with your team. Your team is scared, they're nervous, like, how am I gonna get paid? I don't know what they're doing with that. I am not in a place to tell you whether you should pay your team, not pay your team. That is up to you, because you know your P&Ls, you know your practice, but you also know that your team is a valuable component of your practice that you can't run without them. So you have to do something to A, grow the business, distill like all your kind of facilities, say, look, I need to double down. I need to start keeping it within and grow the business. Maybe I can have them do some things. You see, some of the top companies in the world have remote workforces, right? If you look at any of these companies, whether they're tech or non-tech companies, even banking companies, there's remote workforces there. A lot of times these companies, they have a 20 to 40% remote workforce. So you have to ask yourself, why not us? Why can't we have a remote workforce? And I'll tell you this, right now, as people are home, they're on their phones more than ever. They're also this is what's happening. They're on their phones and they're like, wow, man, I can get stuff done from home. I don't always have to be in a location. This will open up a brand new sense of awareness, within your database, your patients, and yourself on what's actually possible. I'll give you an example. Look, where are we right now? We have almost 200 people, 160 so people logged in from literally all over right now, okay? Logged in from literally all over, right? And some of us we can see on a video, others we can't, but you can really have an impact on people remotely. I've been doing this for years. Some of you know, right? Like where we go online and we teach, we train, we have an impact, we do our best, we add value. Why can't you do that? Why can't dentistry integrate that component, which I'm going to give you tools on how to do it, into what you do? You can. And you can do it with your practice. You can do it with your team, with your patients. And this is like a dimension that I want to open up tonight when we look at how to do this, right? This is something you have to think of. I was just talking to a friend yesterday, and I talked to him about what I'm going to be talking to you about, which is like, look, there's a way to get out there and still be connected to your patients, okay? So that's coming up. Posting content, relevant content, personal content, dental content, be in front of them. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. The next thing is, what about unpaid claims? I know you guys have claims in there that you haven't been paid on. 60 days, 90 days, they're sitting in there. Granted, it's not going to give you the revenue as a full month would, but those unpaid claims are there. And sometimes it requires a phone call. Sometimes it's resubmitting an application. Whatever it is there. So have your team work on unpaid claims. Have them also work on unscheduled treatment plans. And we're going to get into that, okay? But those claims require literally a phone, paper, and making some notations. That's all it is. And getting those claims out there. Maybe they're e-claims, maybe they're paper claims. Sending those out. Now, this leads me to, and we're going to wrap the team part of this into the online part. Online dentistry, okay? How do we get into this? What do we do? How do we tap into this? What the heck does that mean? Like, how do you prep a crown online? I got a way. No, I don't have a way to prep a crown online. But I can tell you this. Right now, more than ever, you have the opportunity to still do consultations, to still triage, to still see your patients online, okay? Now, I'm speaking from experience on this because I have been using the platforms that you see for so long now, like almost 10 years, right? And it's simple. You need 3 tools to do it. And I'll put it into the chat as well, okay? You need 3 tools. So I'm gonna tell you what those are and then give you the 3 tools. And they're not expensive, right? Most of them are free. The first one is Zoom. You guys know, like this is Zoom, obviously, and you can see, we can see one-to-one right here. All your patients. I wouldn't recommend doing all the patients like this. I would go one-to-one, okay? Because obviously you got HIPAA, you have all these other concerns, but Zoom is great. Now, how do you schedule those patients in? Well, right now you probably have a $5,000 or $10,000, dental software, dental management software, whether it's Dentrix or EagleSoft, but you don't need that when you're doing online consultations. All you need is something we call Calendly, and I'll put this down. Calendly is incredible because what it does is it enables you to make a simple appointment. So you can say, hey guys, you can email your patients. Hey, so, Dr. Ganatra, we're gonna be closed for the next 2 weeks, but every Monday from 9 to 3 p.m., we are doing online virtual consultations, online virtual exams, whatever it is. You can open it up for 30-minute slots. Boom, 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 boom. That's like your triage. Calendly, which is the app that we use to do this, they schedule through there. You log in, you do a one-to-one Zoom session. I wouldn't recommend doing this because that's not cool, right? But do a one-to-one. I mean, that would be kind of crazy if you were kind of doing everybody. But one-to-one Zoom session, right? And they can send you pictures. And when you start the session, you write a disclaimer in the chat saying, hey, this is by no means a substitute for a full exam. By no means are my recommendations concrete or bound to any dental diagnostics. This is for me to kind of check things out, triage it, and make a best case scenario, right? Based on what I see virtually. I'll put that in there. I know it's a weird name, right? So Zoom, you guys have that one. So let me put in Zoom first. Here's Zoom, okay? And then I'm gonna go into, there's Calendly. Here's Calendly. So Calendly is excellent because you can make those appointments and you can pick your days on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, whichever days. You may want to triage and just look at your patients like once a week, twice a week, whatever it is. I encourage you to test this and try this out. Why not? Because let me tell you this, some of the greatest companies in the world have been built inside of dark times, inside of challenging times. You take companies like GE, Microsoft, CNN, Disney, all during tough times, all of them. Look what happened with, flagging down a cab. You'd be in front of the street, you'd flag down a cab and they would come pick you up and you're like, okay, this is cool. I paid the cabbie and you're off on your way. But there came a point in time where that was not cool anymore. And now it was more so about looking it up on your phone and going on to Uber. And it tells you how long it's going to take to get there. It tells you how much it's going to cost. Everything is on your phone, right? So let me ask you this. These are industry disruptors. So by us even venturing out and doing a virtual consult, doing a consult on Zoom, or doing a little triage, maybe they are in pain, you send them off to the endo. Maybe they need a couple crowns done. You get them scheduled into your practice. There's many things you can do here because you can also, I see the question on HIPAA. We can also do payment collection. How do we do that? There is the merchant account. If you've heard of Stripe, Stripe is essentially an online merchant account, right? Unlike what you set up in your office, like when you got your office set up, it was like some woman or man came in, they kind of explained everything to you and they gave you this terminal and they showed your front office how to use it and you're like, oh my God, what's all this? And they told you the rates and all that. With Stripe, it's easy. It's like 10 minutes, you're set up. You can start taking payments online. Payments online in 10 minutes. You just put your information in, your banking info, your tax ID. It goes into Stripe. It's one of the biggest online payment providers or solutions, and it integrates really well with Calendly, okay? So if you look at Calendly, I'm just gonna go to my, I'll show you guys my, my Calendly account right here so you guys can see it. Give me a second, let me pull it up. Pull that up right here. And these services are very inexpensive, okay? So let's look it up and I'm gonna show my screen here as well, okay? So let's see, if you are gonna go here, let me go share screen, share, here we go. And it's 2.9% merchant fee on Stripe, someone was asking. Here's Calendly. Calendly helps you schedule meetings without the back and forth emails. That's it. And it'll even send out a text message for you as a reminder and an email for you as a reminder. It's all in here. If you look at pricing, look at the pricing. It's pretty inexpensive. $0 or $8. It's really all you need, one of these plans. I would probably do the $8 one. You can do unlimited events. And that's really it, okay? That one doesn't do SMS. The $12 a month one does. But you have both options there. That can easily set up this whole thing. Because if you are not practicing or seeing patients and they want to still see you, you got to give an appointment kind of slot for them, or you don't have to, but it's good for you to have that available for them. And it's simple to do, right? You got all the features here where you can just, you go to the page and you set things up. I mean, there's a calendar on there. I'll give you an example. So I'll show you right now. Pause. Go to my account. You can see. Copy link. And let me just go into here. And it's really easy to use. So look, here's how it would look. Let me just resume the share. This is a simple calendar, okay? It's a program I have, simple calendar. They would just click and you could put the heading like, you know, consultation with Dr. Smith, consultation with Dr. Ganatra. You could pick whichever day. So I picked, let's say Wednesday, bunch of times pop up. They can just pick a time slot, boom, and that's a consult. That then, you can then send them a link to your Zoom. Those of you in my mastermind, don't worry, I'll have detailed training on how to set some of this stuff up, okay? I know some of you all are here. I'll post that into the members portal, okay? So, but that's essentially it. That is it. Like you can pick a slot and then you get them onto your Zoom call and you could do that one-to-one, right? That is an option. Inside of Calendly, it integrates with Stripe. Okay, it integrates with Stripe where essentially you can take payment. If you want to take payment for your consults, you can do that there. If you're like, Ranesh, I've never taken payment for an exam, totally fine. You don't need to do that. But there's a lot of ways to get creative here because you may have unscheduled treatment plans and those unscheduled treatment plans may, you know, maybe you have a $5,000 unscheduled treatment plan and they need $5,000 worth of work. You may reach out to those people and say, hey, look, we're doing consultations and kind of like, you know, refresher consults. They're free. And the doctor is going to go over that. And if you need this work, what we're offering is 4 to 6 months from now, we'll put you on the schedule. But for having you get on the schedule 4 to 6 months from now, if you end up taking care of a portion of that today, and you can use Stripe to do that, then we will give you an incentive on your treatment costs. Does that make sense? That's another way to do it. Where you are incentivizing them to make payment today for treatment costs, right? Some of them will take you up on it, some of them will not, right? Just depends on their situation, depends on their need. Some people may say, wow, I really need to get Invisalign done. It's gonna be, you know, a little bit less if I take care of it now and I can make my appointment in 4 to 6 months. Worst case scenario, you have to refund them if you have to close down longer than that, but I don't think that's gonna be the thing. These are creative solutions. They are not by any means like, this is not like a 1 + 1 = 2, right? So these are creative solutions that can work if you make them work and if you do the work behind setting some of this stuff up. It's not hard to set up, okay? Setting up Calendly is easy. Putting an account in Stripe is easy. Setting up Zoom is easy. And those of you, like I said, that are in our mastermind group, I will do a training on this. So point and click behind the screen and I'll include that in your course library, okay? So Dinesh is asking, can online consults be billed to insurance? What codes? This morning, someone asked the same question. It was a doctor from Colorado replied. He said that they can be billed. I don't recall the code, but right now I would not count on that. You know, it is too fickle for us to count on. What you can do is do the consult later. When you do open, have them come back in for that exam and get the records you need. Dr. Moshiri said it's D9995 was the code. You are correct. That's exactly what I had that on my mind, but I wasn't certain on it. So thank you. Thank you. So D9995 is the code on that. Now, I don't know if that applies to every state, every location, but that's something there that you got, okay? So I want you to think about, in online dentistry, think about your reach. Think about your reach and your database. You have a valuable asset that you're sitting on. Some of you have databases over 10,000 plus patients. I know that because I know some of you And I'm like, you have big databases. When you sell a practice, people don't buy that buckle. Clinicians don't buy the buckle composite. What they buy is the database. They buy the team. They buy the patient records. Try selling an office without any patient records. It's super hard to do, right? So reaching out to your database, right? Letting them know that you are still there to see and help them and to be in front of them is going to be so valuable. And that all comes from thinking of, what is the problem here? The problem is, gosh, these individuals have no place to go for their dental care right now, okay? Let's triage at least. Maybe they're in pain. Maybe they have a question. Maybe they want to get started on braces. Maybe they do. Don't make the assumption that just because we are going through a challenging time with this coronavirus, that everyone's just gonna not get started on something. Don't do that. And your mind will tell you that that's what's gonna happen. There are plenty of people sitting on the sidelines thinking, okay, man, I need to get some stuff done. Okay, let me at least touch base with my dentist. Maybe we can book it and we can do it in 3 months. And that happens through the consult. And you can do that through Zoom. Now, the question was on HIPAA. So let me answer that. That is not a perfect system, but I don't think you can scrutinize a HIPAA conversation here based on these world lockdown times, right? The world is on lockdown. And if you are trying to reach out and help your patients, that is an unreasonable scrutiny. And I can also tell you this, if some of you may know, but if you're using like WhatsApp is end-to-end encryption. What does that mean? End-to-end encryption means that the only person seeing that message on WhatsApp or Messenger is the person sending it and the person receiving it. The people in between do not see that, okay? This happened when Facebook and the online media got in trouble in Capitol Hill. They started, man, we gotta make everything end-to-end encrypted, okay? So that's one other avenue to send whatever you need to send, right? Email is one way to go, but I don't think that heavy scrutiny can be applied in situations where the world is having a lockdown experience. The IRS is delaying tax deadlines, right? This is a really unique situation, right? So I think that's a question that's relevant, but I don't think the answer is defined based on our condition right now, right? Dr. Chan's asking, what sort of consults would you consider without the need for records or radiograph? I do get the point of reaching out, however. Yes, great question. So you're not gonna have records. You're not gonna have, you know, radiographs, but you can also prep the patient on that. You can also use a software, Log Me In, and I believe it's I think it's Log Me In, to log into your database if you need to remotely, right? And you would log into your database remotely, right? Log Me In can do that, right? So let me just share. If you need to hit your database, you log into your database, you know, work without boundaries. So you would log into your database. We used to use this all the time. I can log in, see the records, all that stuff, right? Previous records. Obviously, I'm not taking fresh records because you can't do that yet through these consults. I'm giving you a very grassroots way to just connect with your patients. And something like Zoom is either free or costs very little. I'll give you an example. If you go to Zoom, if I go here, if I sign out, here we go. If I go to pricing and plans, here's Zoom. They have a plan that holds up to 100 participants, right? But you don't want to see 100. And then you have unlimited one-to-one meetings, and it's free. And the max is 40 minutes on, you know, group meetings, but you got unlimited one-to-one. Now, you can also do 100 participants and unlimited time, which is 24 hours. But most of these, you're going to do 30-minute sessions if you're going to reach out to people, 30-minute sessions. So Zoom is how you're going to reach out to them, and that's how you're going to connect just like we are. Calendly is a calendar. That's just an online calendar to set things up. So maybe even after all this boils down, you may decide, geez, Ranesh, this is really good. Like, I can sit at home in my shorts, you know, having a drink, and I can, like, you know, triage and schedule consults, and I can do that every Monday. Monday, I can send them off. One person goes to endo, and then I can set up the crown preps on Thursday. So I can just send them my front office and say, hey, you know what, Jennifer or Tom up front, schedule these 3 patients for the crown preps because I've already triaged them online. And you know enough to be able to do that. These may not always be new patients. These could most likely here be existing patients, right? So Dr. Roberts says, well, Dr. Mashir, let's read her. She said, most patient communication platforms have end-to-end encrypted text messaging using your office number. Great solution. Dr. Roberts says, would you recommend prescribing antibiotics to a patient in pain only in online consultation? Also, if you're consulting with patients not in your database, how would you document? So if they're not in my database, my rule is a patient of non-record, I don't prescribe medication to, okay? If there's a patient of record, they're in the database, if I see them like here, sure. Patients will text, you sometimes when you're off saying, hey, I'm swelling. You'll be able to assess enough to do that. But when you log into the chat, you have to put that disclaimer there that's saying, hey, this is an assessment based on a virtual setting, not based on me seeing you in person. So you have to safeguard that. And then they just reply in the chat confirming that they got that message. And these meetings can be all recorded, right? So you're recording them in the cloud. Zoom will automatically record that for you. Okay, so for less than $50, you have these 3 tools. Stripe is free. Stripe is free, okay? It takes 2.9% of anything you charge. So if you charge for a consult, it'll take that. And that will integrate with Calendly, okay? If they're in pain, is it the time to actually bring them in and see them in person? Yes, because non-elective care right now is approved to do. Now, I'm going to go over, a little bit of infection control with wipes that we think that all wipes are good with coronavirus. And we also know that only the N95 masks are the ones that really shield you against that, right? Those flimsy dental masks don't really do that, right? So N95 is hard to get those right now, but we'll see if we have a resource for those as well. So that if they're in pain, then you got to make some disclosures on that and have some of that. I just talked to a dentist the other day. He's like, they were open a couple days ago. They were taking temperatures, all that stuff. I get that, but remember, the temperature is not a current gauge for how things are going because people can be asymptomatic on this. I don't want to get too much into that. What I want to stay focused on is what you can do, and all that other stuff is something that you will seek out, right? So the mindset around is this. If you think about your database and you can see that you connect with that database through online consults, through Zoom, through them following your content, being top of mind, this is a great place to be. This is a great place to start, okay? I know it's not ideal. I get that. But you know what? You have to stay in front of your database and even emailing them once or twice a week with just updates. And it doesn't have to be dental updates. It could be sending them to your Instagram page. It could be talking about the fun things that your team's doing or some of the challenges that you're going through, some of the trials and tribulations. Be in front of them. Be in front of them. The worst thing you can do is to not be in front of them. That is really the worst thing you can do. I want to talk to you about a few more things. I got 3 cards here, and then we'll open this up to more things, and I'll go over more questions on any of this stuff. And I'll tell you this. This is a time right now where we're seeing a global shift in how everything is done. You can either embrace it, or you can either sit there and say, you know what, I'm in so much panic. But if you hold on to the panic, you will never seek and find the perspective. If you hold on to the panic, you will never seek and find the perspective. You will get lost in that panic. And that's what I'm here to tell you is like, look, you have to not seek the opportunity, seek out where the problems are. Where can you solve those? Not just for yourself at home, but for those people that are counting on you. That's what I'm doing, right? I'm out here thinking, how can I serve? How can I help? What can we do? What can we do? Because when 2 people get together, what results is a third mastermind I. The sum of 2 people, when 2 people get together, something greater forms, right? And that's what happens through collaboration. That's what happens in masterminds. That's what happens when people get together and they think about things. right? So that was my motivation in saying, hey, let's figure this out. Let's be in this journey together, because this is something that is not just going to go away in a day. And then we're going to go over some other options after I go over this. But the next thing I want to talk to you about is routines. Routines. And this is really important because you may think, Ranesh, God, that's common sense. But look, common sense isn't always what common practice, right? So routines. What's your morning routine? What is your morning routine? Are you rolling over, scrolling your phone, and looking at all the news? And I know I've been guilty of it as well. But I can tell you this from experience, when I don't do that versus when I do that, it primes and sets up my day at a whole different level, right? So dial out your routines. And what is your morning routine? What is your morning routine? So for that, I would recommend, look, get some sunlight every morning. Even if you're living in a cold place, someone replied back saying, Ranesh, there's no sun where I'm at in the morning. I'm like, look, as long as there's light, there's sun. It may be cloudy, but it's not night, right? So as long as there is some light, there is sun. So get that sunlight in the morning. Move. Don't go to the gym because that's probably not the best place to be, but get outside and work out. The last 2 years, my workout has literally been 2 15-pound dumbbells, a kettlebell that's 40 pounds and 65 pounds, and maybe some battle ropes. That's it. It doesn't take much. Pull-ups at the park, whatever it is. Push-ups, running in place, mountain climbers on the ground. Get out there, sweat, get a workout in, walk. If it's just a walk for you, do a walk. It would change the tone of your day. Because I can tell you this, look, as clinicians, we know what a virus is. We know that viruses are microbes that are dead. They are dead microbes. They are not living. They only start to live and come alive in the presence of a host. In the presence of a host. It's a dead thing that comes alive in the presence of a host. So there's 2 ways we can look at this. We can say, hey, how do I avoid getting sick? How do I avoid getting sick? Or we can change the conversation to, how do I boost my immunity? How do I boost my immunity? How do I get healthier? So I'm not saying that you can get healthier and be immune to it. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that, and I don't think anyone will combat this, but if you have optimized your body and your systems to a point that you are healthier, you are less likely to be in a place where you are getting infected by anything, right? In general, common sense. So how do I boost my health? How do I boost my immunity, right? And sunlight is one of the ways to do it. Another way is to have that routine, and is to think about what you do for that. Now, I'm going to share some supplements and things that I take. I wish I owned these products. I don't. But maybe you take some great ones, and if they work for you, stick with them. If you don't know what you could take on any of this, then go ahead, take me up on this and go to Amazon and order them, try them out. They're awesome, okay? So I really got started on this journey in January. It was December at Christmas, and we went to my wife's side of the family in Canada, and I literally was like just pigging out on sugar. Like, I have a sweet tooth. And in fact, like when I first met my wife, she asked me, like, Ranesh, like, do you eat like cookies and stuff? And I'm just like, boy, do I eat cookies. Of course I eat cookies, right? Like, I have a sweet tooth. And I was, and I don't know what it is. When you're in other countries like Canada or even the UK, we haven't been in a while, but the chocolate there, man, it's so much better. I don't know what it is. So I'm eating these chocolate bars and I'm like finishing half the box. And I'm just like, man, this is crazy. Like, what am I doing? Like, and come January 1st, I said, look, I'm going to cut the sugar. I'm not doing any sugar. And it was not easy. So January 1st, I cut the sugar. I'm still sugar-free. I do give myself fruit, blueberries, strawberries, fruit. And that first month was a beast of that was not easy. But whenever I felt the craving, because they always say that if you are cutting something, you have to fill it with something healthy. So when I felt the craving to have like a candy bar or a cookie or a brownie, and sorry if I'm enticing you, But when I felt that craving, I would just reach for a handful of blueberries. Okay? I would just reach for a handful of blueberries. And I would get the blueberries and half a cup of that, and boom, it would just squash the craving. And now the cravings are very limited, and they're more, I can manage them, right? So cutting the sugar is huge for your immunity. It is huge for the wellness of your immune response. 1 can of Coke, if you can look this up, 1 can of Coke, 40 grams of sugar, that will depress your immune system for 4 hours. 4 hours. You're going to get a depressed immune response. 4 hours, 1 can of Coke. So I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but what I am saying is this is exactly, we know this. The research is out. It's not like in the 80s where it's like everything was high fructose. It is, but now things are getting better. And if you go to the stores where people are hoarding stuff, the ironic thing is all the crap junk food is gone. But the healthy stuff, if you look at the produce, a lot of it's still there. If you look at some of the healthier items, those are there. But the junk is out. So don't follow the herd, right? The herd is like, man, I'm just going to take in the junk food. All these items. Don't do that. Take care of your body in this time. Take care of your mind. All these things put different thoughts, perspectives, attitudes, emotions, tones in your body. Like if you're having a lethargic day, what am I processing? What am I putting into my body? What am I drinking? What is it, right? So that's number 1. Figure out what that is for you. A great way to boost your immunity is to decrease your sugar input. It may be, a little less sugar in your coffee for you. It may be not the sweetened oatmeal for you. Whatever it is for you. You don't have to do what I did. Do what works for you. With that being said, on a morning routine, what do I use? I want to talk a little bit about supplementation because we want to talk about staying healthy. We want to talk about getting your team healthy. And the one part I haven't gone over, which is how do I use some of these tools to keep my team going for the next month or so. So we're going to hit that. I just noticed I forgot to talk about how do I keep my team active during the next 4 to 6 weeks. And I have a solution or at least a suggestion for that, okay? But let's go over supplementation while we're at it because that's where we're at. Supplements. Here's what I do. Breakfast, my morning shake. I do a shake in the morning after my workout. It's this dairy-free protein. It's called Vega. You can get it at Costco, or I stopped going to Costco a while ago because they're a bunch of people. It's kind of long lines as long as like amusement parks. But you can get this online, Amazon. Okay, and it's 20 grams of protein. It's sugar-free, and it actually is really good on my stomach, and it makes me feel great, and it's easy to digest. I would highly recommend this product. Great product. So what I do in my protein shake, I go with unsweetened almond milk. I put this in there. I put a handful of spinach. Then I do half a cup of blueberries. Then I do almond butter, a teaspoon of almond butter. And then I use this thing right here, Spirulina. This is a superfood, okay? Organic spirulina. Essentially, it's a naturally occurring superfood that's like super dense in nutrients, proteins, and a lot of antioxidants, okay? It is awesome. You just get it online, get it on Amazon, put that in your shake. I promise your shake will taste amazing. If you don't want to do this, try it without this. Do the almond milk, the protein, the almond butter, the spinach, half a cup of blueberries. Try that first day. It will taste great. And you may be thinking, gosh, Ranesh, how am I supposed to drink mixed up spinach or kale? Trust me, the blueberries, oh my God. And the almond butter, everything. Man, if you could put a little Corona in there, it would wipe that out, right? But it tastes great. It tastes great. Next day, put the spirulina in so you can get used to it. Okay, so almond milk, scoop of vanilla protein, Vega, half a cup, a handful of spinach. Trust me on the spinach, it's not gonna taste bad. Half a cup of blueberries and also almond butter. That together is only 9 grams of sugar, and the sugar is only coming from 3 grams from the almond butter and 6 grams from the blueberries. Clean shake, and it will keep you full. This is my glass from this morning. probably shouldn't show you this, but it'll keep you full, right, for till the afternoon, and it's excellent, okay? And you will feel like you got infused with nutrients, and it's just gonna make you feel great. Great way to go. And then I would recommend even a spirulina on top of that, maybe the next day. So this one makes it taste a little bit more greeny, but it's awesome. Spirulina is great. That's what keeps you healthy. As far as supplements, get your B12. This is a brand I use. Vitamin Code is a brand. There's a men's and a women's multi by Vitamin Code. The reason I like Vitamin Code is because it's a whole food based vitamin. It's not like ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is vitamin C synthetic. A whole food based vitamin is made by the mixtures of whole food particles. I don't fully understand it, but they've explained it in here. But it's made by the chemistry between whole foods interacting and them giving a vitamin, giving a chemical that is a vitamin C. It is fully organic. So do not get the synthetic vitamins. Get a whole food based vitamins. Not from Whole Foods. You can get it from Whole Foods, but it doesn't necessarily have to be from Whole Foods, but it's just called a whole food based vitamin, right? Raw whole food multi. That is the cleanest vitamin you can get, okay? There's different brands. This one I use. You don't have to get this one, whatever works for you. And then there's B12. That's good for your immune support. That's awesome. Okay, B12. There's also a vitamin D. What I would get, everybody could use a little bit more vitamin D, even though I'm in California, especially if you're indoors. Vitamin D is going to be awesome. This is 5,000 units. You can get this through Amazon. Oh, and if you go to Amazon, a lot of this stuff will not be sold out, okay? Because people are grabbing other things. They're not grabbing this stuff. Those are awesome. Now, vitamins, supplements are great. I would also put into your schedule, into your routine, some form of meditation, prayer if you want, some sort of silence, whatever you do. But for me, meditation is super key. And I'll at least once a day, a lot of times twice a day, 15 to 20 minutes. Ground myself, be silent, and you will see how many thoughts, ambitions of creativity, downloads you get. Like, it is amazing, and it's very creative. It is very, it boosts your creativity unlike you'd ever think. It's not gonna happen maybe on the first time, maybe it could, but if you are in a process of meditating consistently, you'll get more peace, you'll get more confidence, you'll just get more in tune with your surroundings, right? Because right now, more than ever, we're having a lot of madness out there, and there's a lot of decisions you're gonna have to make with the team, this, that. Zone in, block everything out, and just be there in silence with yourself. Maybe you focus on your breath, maybe you focus on, a feeling, whatever it is, or a thought that or just let your thoughts come and go. There's plenty of different meditation apps and practices that you can follow, from a Headspace to guided meditation to someone like a Jay Shetty, to anyone that you follow online. That's huge, okay? So meditation is gonna really help you sink in and tune in. So valuable, okay? So valuable. So if you put all that together, you have a plan. But now I'm also saying, how do I get my team? We want to go back to this. How do I get my team to do this? Could you get your team onto Zoom? Could you have them, go through and say, hey, let's still do our team meeting. Let's still go in there and still connect once a month. Could you outsource certain tasks to your team? Absolutely. We have so many of you here, all through Zoom. You can put 4 or 5 or 6 of your team members on Zoom. Absolutely. And you should, right? So you should have a curriculum built around this. You should be doing something on this, and you should double down on your education for your team. Now, you may have something, you may not. Whatever it is, as I mentioned a few times, I meet with my group and my mastermind every Wednesday, and they have access to all my courses, right? And you can join us if you want. And if that's not for you, that's fine too. That's not what this is about, right? This is about you having a structure to getting in there and getting things done with your team and doing it off of Zoom as well, right? For me, it's simple. We have our, I can show you guys. really quick here. We have our curriculum. Like literally I have a whole program on this. So it's our mastermind where every month, I mean, they get the 10 keys to mastering the phones, funnels, my email campaigns, my month 1 video, month 2. So every month we release a brand new training for the team. They can go through that team. You can watch that on your Zoom calls together. There's worksheets in there. There's everything is built and baked in there that inside the mastermind you have access to, okay? So those of you that are mastermind members, you guys already know. So those of you that are getting in, you'd get the monthly curriculum, you get our increasing your case acceptance course, you get our marketing program. And then every Wednesday at 1 p.m., I do a live Zoom session with our team. We have hundreds of offices in this and all the way from around the world. Like we do a live session. And if you miss that live session at 1 p.m. on Wednesday, you can actually, it's recorded. It's placed in here and you can see all of our previous calls that we've had, right? Content strategies, bring in the patients you want without wasting time on social media, the power of thinking small, consistency, 2 immediate revenue boosters for tomorrow. So all of that stuff from all of our mastermind calls is in there for you to access as well. And then I have a full course on marketing, right? So this is also a time where if you have 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, double down on your education. Have your team learn this with you. Dental domination is awesome. I give you the funnels. I give you all the marketing funnels. You get all of that. You learn how to do ads on Facebook. You learn how to do Instagram. You learn how to do build warm audiences around your office to reach out. So all of that's there. I got like, here's a single implant case funnel, right? So we got that funnel here. And literally, you know, you download the funnel, you click there, and all of a sudden it builds out the funnel and says, do you want the implant package? So I've already built all this stuff in there, and mastermind members get all of these programs from me, okay? So this is a great time to dig into that. If you're a member and you haven't gone through, dig in now. If you want to join in, I'll put the link up. It's drgmastermind.com. We're opening that up because I know that this is a great time to do that. If it doesn't work for you, it's totally fine. But I want you to make a decision where I can help you and do this consistently. Like funnels like this, I've built them for you, right? You get click funnels and you would get this funnel. I've already built out funnels for you on a big scale, okay? So I wanted to go over that with you as well. So you guys can see you get access to those courses, and this is a great time to be doing this, right? We have a big library. You get access to 4 of those courses, everything from case acceptance, all this. Because we know, look, dentistry is not going anywhere, and we also know that this is a great time to double down on those things, right? So I wanna open it up. I wanna open it up to Q&A. I wanna open it up to where we're at. Let's see. I have so many questions here. Recipe, we went over that. Someone's asking mastermind. Okay, let me put that link in there first before we forget that. Joining the mastermind. Oh, I didn't even tell you. Okay, mastermind is only 90-some bucks a month. That's it. You get access to all those courses, marketing, case acceptance, monthly curriculum releases every month. Your team can look them over. Some of you are in my mastermind program right now. Just chime in. Let them know what the experience is like. They'll tell you. Don't hear it from me. Let them tell you. You just go to drgmastermind.com. Let's see. Bam. So that's where you'd get into that. Okay. So let's see. Questions. Mohammed's. Let's see. Laurel. Unemployment best in my humble opinion. They're still be able to come for. So EDD right now. A couple of things that came up in the call this morning. Okay. Is EDD is you may want to talk and touch base with them because they may be offering different guidelines on unemployment because of what's happening. As we know, IRS has deferred tax deadlines right now. As of today, that came out. This thing is changing every day, right? And then, hold on. We're sharing a screen. Hold on a second. There we go. Bam. Okay. Back to stop share. Perfect. Sorry. Yeah, you guys, if you want to share your screen, let us know. We'll let you share your screen. So what I'm going to do is I want to open up some Q&A. I want to get some collaboration here. What are you doing in your office that's worked? What are you doing in your office that's worked so far? What is your plan moving forward? What do you think about some of these things I presented tonight? Let's collaborate. I did this morning. It was very helpful. And I want to make sure that we get the best of this as well. So let's see. There's so many things here in the chat. And I'm going to go ahead and manage participants. I'm going to unmute all. Let me see. Let's do this. Let's talk about this. I'll unmute you guys. And then I'll also reference this on, here we go, on Instagram as well. Unmute. Okay. Yes or no? Maybe so.
He has some good ideas. I mean, he's right. Make the concept. What I'm going
to do is
educating your patients,
if you want to say something to the group, let us know. Mute. Okay, cool. We can unmute. Just type in the comments and speak up, and then we would be able to unmute you. You can just unmute yourself, okay? So let's get some collaboration here. What are things that you're doing in your office that's helping? Are you guys, who's closed down? Who has a plan around this? What's going on to mitigate like risk? Bottom line, I've also talked to a lot of doctors. My buddy is saying that he was looking into home equity line of credits, because if this thing goes out longer than anticipated, then reaching out to your bankers and your banks right now is probably a safe bet, because they haven't got an influx of business owners reaching out to them saying, hey, do you guys offer HELOCs, all that stuff. So something that you may want to entertain. I don't know your financial situation, but that's an area that you may want to look into as well. He looked into that. I want to show you short-term aid, but I was on the phone with American Express today, and they are offering defer payments with no late fees or interest accumulation for the next 2 billing cycles. But you must call them, and they will register your accounts for the 2 billing cycle deferment. Not a long-term solution, but will help me with tremendously with short-term cash flow. Great. So that's a great solution there as well. Closed down, had a conference meeting today with the team, have dental intel, and came in with a plan to clear out the claims. Awesome. Dr. Dagley said that. That is great. Great job, Preeti. What are some of your other things that you guys have done? Would love to hear back. And please, I would love to give you the mic so you can speak, and we can take notes on some of the stuff that you're saying, you know? No one's, someone says, hey, what's going to happen after a month? I don't know. The virus, we don't know. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. My personal take on it is I don't think this thing's going to be around longer than 6 months. I could be wrong, but I find it hard to believe that it's going to be around uncontained in this state longer than 6 months, okay? That's still a super long time, especially as a business owner. This affects everybody, right? This affects everybody. Billing, pre-estimates, etc., staying busy. If you have loans, can you tell the credit card companies you're going through hardship and negotiate a lower interest? Please unmute it. I don't know. Maybe not. Okay. So if you want to say something, please unmute and then just go ahead and say something, or just put it in the comments and then I can unmute you as we go. Right? We have. Go for it. Are you there, Doc?
Yes.
Hey, what's going on, Doc? How you doing?
Good. We are in New York, but problem is what's going to happen all year until the vaccine going to be available.
You're in New York?
Yep.
So right now, I know one company is working on a vaccine and they're starting early trials, but it's going to be a long time, I think, before a vaccine gets available and rolled out to the public.
Maybe by that time we don't need it.
Maybe by that time we don't need it.
Yeah, you got gonna be immune because everybody gonna be sick. Whoever gonna survive gonna be immune.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever. How is the situation out there?
Not that bad. We are not working since yesterday, keeping safety ourselves and the patients, but it's not bad. I don't know how bad it's gonna go later on.
Yeah.
Compared to California and Seattle is better, much better.
Yeah. And you're in New York, huh?
Yep.
Wow. I thought it was super bad out there, but it's good to hear.
Okay, thank you for the lecture.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so let's see here. I wanted to show you guys, I don't know what type of disinfectant, what you guys use, but this, you should watch out. What, like these sani clots do kill the human coronavirus strain, 229E. So you should check the back of your disinfectant, right? And I know that this one, I just got a text just the other day. Not everyone does. So if you're using SaniCloth does. If you're using Optim, you're pretty good because Cavi wipes don't. Okay, so I would. Cavi wipes don't. Optim does. So you should probably check into that when they're cleaning and disinfecting rooms, right? Dental insurances. Okay, the biggest thing you can do is Dr. Moshiri, I can unmute you. Optim one is best, she says. So Tara, I can unmute you if we can have a conversation on that. Or you can unmute yourself. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, Doc. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having such great sessions. I also was at your morning session and really enjoyed it. Thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you. You know, just trying to do what we can to get everybody together and to, you know, hopefully move through this and come out, you know, in a good place. So what's your current situation with your insurances? Do you take a lot? Do you have a lot of claims pending? What's going on there?
Well, what I was asking is not really the insurances, dental insurances that we're dealing with. I'm talking about the insurance that the dentists normally get through their disabilities. So there are different types of insurances that you could be possibly having. So it's good to tap into that and take a look at what your contract, I mean, the clauses are with that. So you may be eligible for getting overhead insurance. Or if you have that, tap into that. But the stipulations, I don't know because I was not, unfortunately, I was never qualified for an overhead insurance due to a chronic illness. So I don't know how that unfolds, but I think that's one of the best things to tap into for long term. Not for short term, but because this is something that we don't know long term, I think it's not a bad idea to look into that versus unemployment and all of that, which is a short-term remedy. Has
anyone looked at, there's so many of you on here, has anyone looked into that? If you have, then just go ahead and unmute and let us know. Because that would be very helpful, you know.
Hey, Ranesh, it's Dr. Abernathy. How are you?
Hey, Doc. How you doing? Great to hear from you.
Good. Yes, I'm in New York. As you know, we're about to be locked in for a little bit.
Yeah.
But to answer the question about the overhead insurance, so I actually had just asked my agent that today. It really depends on your particular plan, how it's written. But for the most part, most of them only cover if it's an act of God. So meaning, and most acts of God are going to be weather related. So this may not qualify. I'm not sure. They said they may be in talks, not quite sure at this moment because things are changing so quickly. But as of now, most of the overhead insurances don't cover this type of thing, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense because, and like you said, act of God, and then this is like a fine line. Like, where are we at with that? You know.
Well, if the act of God actually ends up making you ill, then what?
That's a good point. You know. And the last time I checked, maybe these viruses are originated from God. I don't know, right?
I mean, when you get ill, that's act of God. I mean, in a way, I mean, you're not really responsible for getting ill. So you just get ill and then therefore you don't go to work and therefore you have the disability. So this is another form of that. But
yeah, very true.
Right.
this
I mean,
is
some of my
something that,
friends were laughing about that today. Like, it's a virus that, hey, it just came around. So what is that? Was it an act of Satan? But no, so we were kind of laughing about that today. But unfortunately, right? Unfortunately, that's more weather related than anything.
this is all good points. This is I don't think anyone knows like much about all of this. Everything's changing, and the best thing we can do is just be collaborative, because man, it is so hard to navigate through this when you're just a sole pioneer and you're like, okay, how do I get through this? But if you guys, have things that come about that you find out, then, we can, maybe we'll put a group together or something on this, but.
Ranesh, if I may.
Yeah.
I did speak at length with CDA and pointed out that we are all disabled by the government right now because they're not letting us go into our offices. She sent me a form to fill out. So I will address that and I will keep in touch and see.
Okay, this is Dr. Morello. Is this you, Laurel?
Yes.
So this form, first of all, this is great info. This form, what does this entail? Like, what is that for? Why would you fill that out? Like, is this something that we need access to as well?
My reasons for needing coverage for this crisis. So I'm looking it up right now, the form, so I can maybe even get it to you somehow.
Oh, that would be awesome. If you could post it in the chat here for all the other docs, that would be great.
Here, let's see, ADA members. Yeah, I will have to see if I can find that, Renee.
No problem.
Yeah.
Do you
But
remember the name of the form?
They sent it off to me to fill out. And I think if maybe more of us do that, we are disabled. We are not able to perform the duties that we normally perform.
Hey, Ranesh.
Yeah, this is a very good point.
So,
That's a very good point.
But the problem is the waiting period. Most of these insurances have a 60-day waiting period.
good point. Mm-hmm.
So then we may not even qualify for that until 60 days.
Right.
And they may change the rules just because then they're going to get overwhelming requests for disability.
Yes.
Well, sorry to interrupt. In my insurance, I have a specific clause for pandemic outbreak, and they are getting overwhelmed because it's been 2 days I've been trying to call. And finally I got through and they said everyone's calling and they're going to call us back to do our claim. But apparently someone just posted in my region that they don't want to pay us even though they said they would. So I don't know.
Stephanie, you said that there's a specific. Go ahead.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on your insurance. But mine, I have. So you all have to read your contracts. For me, there was a clause. There was a business interruption, but I said it's not because for business interruption, they said it was for fire, thief, vandalism, tax. But under they said I have a pandemic outbreak coverage also, which I took. So
Okay,
it depends
this is
on
great advice.
coverage.
Which insurance is that?
Well, I'm in Canada, so I don't know, like,
Thank you.
if you guys have that, but it's with CDSPI, which is with, sorry, I'm looking for the company name. It starts
Hey,
with-
Ranesh, I spoke to my carrier today as well, and they said, what you were just talking about, the business interruption, that yes, it was, fire, hurricane, things like that for business interruption. And they were saying most insurance carriers actually excluded pandemic and viruses and things like that in their contracts. However, if you're mandated by the government to close down, and unfortunately right now, a lot of the dental societies are recommending, and it's not being mandated by the government, but if it becomes mandated, which every hour things seem to be changing, but they said if it becomes mandated by the government that we must close down, that can qualify, or they think that probably will qualify as business interruption.
Steve, great point. And I wonder if this is a strategic move by the government, knowing that this could be a widespread. So I guess it's safe to say for everyone, if you are mandated by the government, then that may indicate a clause for some sort of.
It actually is recommended in Virginia for 2 weeks. So they thought of that ahead of us.
Yeah, and then the dental boards they're kind of softening the blow from the government. Pixel, I don't have your name there. Did you want to say something?
No, it was already answered. Thank you, though.
Oh, no worries, Doc. Thank you.
Now, one thing I will say, as far as the different government entities trying to help out, I know in New York City they're doing this. I'm not sure if they're going to do this in other cities, but the SBA is offering, and the city is offering some relief for small businesses. So, of course, you can only imagine how swamped they're going to get with requests. But you can either apply for a low interest rate loan. I think it's like 3.75%, maximum $7,500 to help mitigate some overhead costs, and then also a grant to help with covering payroll. So I'm not sure what each individual municipality is going to do, but that's one thing they're doing in New York.
Interesting. Wow. Has anyone looked into like EDD and unemployment insurance for their team? Like, is there lower guidelines on that? Can they have access to any of that? Anybody looking at that?
Not insurance specifically, but just the unemployment coverages up to a certain amount based on 3 months of their salary. They can still return and come in and out of the office for emergencies, and they won't jeopardize their coverage. Those are some of the things that I discovered, but not actually an insurance plan.
Hello?
Please, go ahead.
Yes, I checked with EDD, and they have this program besides unemployment insurance. They have, this is in California, so EDD is for California state. And I'm sure other states might have something similar. The unemployment insurance, they have a program that's called Unemployment Insurance Work Sharing Program. And that allows, if you have to lay off people, they are willing to pay up to 60%. So you pay 40% of their payroll, and they will pay 60%. And that's indefinite as long as you keep on applying for that program. And you give the form to the employee, and the employee sends them in, and they get their check. And as long as they're on your payroll also. So in case you're working for 5 days and you have to cut the hours or whatever, so let's say two days work and 3 days off, then you get your 40% that you have to pay your employees, and 60% pays by the EDD.
Very interesting. What was the name of that, Dr. Shidwan?
It's called Unemployment Insurance Work Sharing Program.
I'll post that in there. Unemployment Work Sharing Program. Okay. So that's a great one. Sean, thank you. That was great.
You're welcome.
Hopefully help a lot of people out with that. I'm just reading through the comments here. Let's see. Is that in California? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm from Texas, and I had my team look into unemployment. And in Texas, I think you can get about 2/3 of your usual income, up to $4,000 a month. So my entire team has already applied because we chose to close the office starting tomorrow. I just wasn't sure if doctors can apply as well. I own my business, but I do get paid under W-2. I went ahead and applied, but I don't know if we will receive it or not.
And if you do receive it, what do you get?
I think you can get 2/3 or up to $4,000 a month.
Wow. Okay. So there's something there. I think all these. This is great, Doc. This is awesome, Gene. I think that this is very helpful because I don't know if everyone's reached out to their unemployment, like their carriers, and this would be a good time to do it because I still feel like it's somewhat early, as things progress, then a lot of this thing will be constricted, and you're going to get some strongholds on some of this stuff. So I think one of the doctors from this morning, Dr. Jordan, he talked about the home equity line of credit. He said, look, we should be good for a little bit, but I wanted to reach out because if we have that, at least get approval on that, because it may be hard to get approval on that if they tighten the reins, especially if you're going to use it for business use. So that's something that I thought was a very intelligent kind of way to look at it, because it's all about reaching out and seeing if that's even an issue or if that's even a possibility. If that's something you want to do with, if any of you are homeowners and there's a line of credit that's available, something to keep in the back of your mind.
Ranesh?
Yeah.
I wanted to share something which is irrelevant to the subject that we're talking about, but very, very unusual information that I found out just by a happenstance regarding taxes. So, as we go around more and more forward, we all have been getting checks by, not checks, but like virtual credit card payments. I don't know if you all get that.
Okay.
So the problem with that is, and this may be tapping into some income that is going to have to probably come back to you that you paid not knowing. So once the insurances actually pay you with a virtual credit card, they have to report the payment like they would normally previously with a 1099 miscellaneous form. Well, when they do the virtual credit card, they have to actually report it on a 1099K form. At the same time, when you're running your credit cards through your merchant processor in the office, they also are mandated to report that income as a 1099K. So guess what happens? Your actual income is accounted for twice. So funny, my accountant said you've been making a lot more than last year. And I was like, well, it doesn't really feel like it. So when I looked back, I realized what's happening. So and this happened within the last 2 months. So I have been basically paying off all of the extra monies that I thought that I had made. Lo and behold, the accountants mostly look at your 1099s and not your bookkeeping if there's a discrepancy. Well, guess what you all can be doing now? The good time, the 2 or 3 weeks we all have, let's go back and take a look at all of those 1099s and really compare them against the merchant processing. And with Dentrix, you can keep track of what payments have been come through the, it's an insurance payment and it's a virtual credit card. You can track with that, but I don't know if everybody tracks that. And if you do, this is something everybody should bring up to their accountant, because I have been reading upon this for 3 weeks. And I realized everybody, to be on the safe side, particularly the insurances, do not take the time to actually give a revised form. So it would say how much of that income is actually checks and how much of it is actually credit card. So you have to do your own due diligence. And guess what? A lot of people with higher incomes, I don't qualify for that, but I don't make millions. So that I'm just saying, you could have been paying a lot more to the IRS since 2012 than you think you did.
Very good point.
I have a comment on that one, actually. So I'm not sure why.
Go ahead, Dinesh.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you would even look at the 1099s. I mean, we don't ever look at the 1099s because it's all in our bookkeeping. So, because those are only.
We don't look at it. The accountant does. So
no, let me explain 1 second. So, our accountant does our bookkeeping. So that's based on all the bank receipts and bank transactions. So everything gets factored in there. And usually that number will be much higher because it includes patient checks plus insurance checks. So it's gonna, the 1099s are irrelevant at that point because the bank transactions will be much higher. And I've never had a problem with I mean, we don't even give the 1099s to the accountant because it's not even relevant, because they're going to be a much smaller number than the overall deposits coming in from patient checks and insurance checks. So I'm not sure why that would be an issue. I'm just trying to understand. Are we missing?
Well, that is office to office basis. Some offices may end up getting more checks from insurance than they would ever get from patients. I'm just saying.
Right, but it'll all show up in your bookkeeping, right? No matter.
Oh, yeah. But I personally asked my accountant, I said, when there is a major discrepancy, which one do you go by? And of course they go by 1099s.
Okay, I see.
It all depends on your bookkeeping, who does your bookkeeping, and how accurate your bookkeeping is. Do you pay your accountant to do your bookkeeping? Do you keep track of it on QuickBooks? I just happen to keep track of everything on QuickBooks.
I see.
So I do my own bookkeeping.
Yeah, so if you reconcile your bank statements when you do it with your accountant.
Yes, I do reconcile everything.
Yeah, so then you're as long as you've shown every deposit, that scenario that you're describing should never, that scenario won't occur. I mean, we've been doing this for almost 15, 18 years. I've never, ever had that problem. So,
well, this problem is a brand new problem. So it's not something that, anyone has caught on yet, because as we go along, the insurances have become, had this new trend of sending this virtual credit cards.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and so going forward, it all depends, because if, for example, you're getting, I don't know, $500,000 from insurances, and then yet this $500,000, because most of the monies that comes in is not really from patient checks, at least not on my end. They're mostly insurances. When you do the percentage of how much insurance you get versus what patients pay, unless you're all fee for service, and the office is completely different. But if you're making $500,000 by insurances and now you're being reported as $1 million, then we have a problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, I see what you're saying. So
yeah, I see both of your points. My personal experience has been similar to Dinesh's, where the bank statements are more than the 1099. So with the 1099s are irrelevant. But I see what you're saying.
what we've started doing actually is to write back to all these insurance companies and reject the VCCs. So we're rejecting those and telling them we want checks only. So,
well, the easiest way to do that, and I actually ended up doing that with like 15 different payers instantly, is to take a look at your virtual card payment, and there's a transaction ID. And there's a reference number for it. So if you call them directly, for example, let's say EcoHealth. If you call EcoHealth directly, then EcoHealth is going to tell you what other payer lists they have. For example, Aetna, I don't know, Cigna, GIHA, whatever. And so if you just call the source, you don't have to call the insurances anymore, which is more time consuming. So you just call, for example, EcoHealth and say, hey, I don't want to be getting virtual credit cards for any of the payer lists under you, and then eliminate it right off the bat in one shot.
I see. But how many different payers are there?
For me, there were only 3 competitors. One was EcoHealth. Yeah, I forget the other 2. But all I had to do is to look in my EOBs, the hard copies that I keep for year 2019, and that gave me unanimously an idea of what services they use as a third-party payer. So I just called them and gave that. We all have an ID number for that, and it's all written up on the virtual credit card slip that they send you, and you just read them that and say, hey, take me off all of your payer lists by this, and you can just eliminate them in one shot. So it took me 3 conversations, and I got everyone off of that in one session. So I thought that's
yeah, that's helpful. That's helpful to know. Thanks for sharing.
This is great info and good perspective on both ends. I want to chime in here and ask about, because I know we're getting some questions on the team, staff. Obviously, disclose whatever you want to disclose, but every office is different. There's not one way that works for everybody, but how are some of you handling it? Is this thing that I presented tonight with having them doing the office meeting on Zoom, maybe once every few weeks or once a month, or having them do work collectively and touching base over platforms like this? Is that something that's feasible to you all, or is that something that's kind of out of reach? I want to hear some thoughts on that. for the team?
I use Dental Practice Pro.
What was that?
Dental Practice Pro. And what they do, everybody has a username and a password, and you can, it's something like Dental Intel, but much, much, much more affordable. I think Dental Intel is around somewhere around 400 to 500, if I'm not mistaken. Dental Practice Pro has different tiers. You can go anywhere from $60 to $160, and depending on what you wanted to do, you can delegate tasks to all of your team members remotely without having to give them complete access to your Dentrix, because you don't want to give the same access to 5 different people. But this way, they basically give you access to all of the relevant reports. And so you can create a username and a password for all of your team members, delegate their tasks, and be able to actually follow through with their progress.
That's great. That's great. And then are you doing that with Dental Practice Pro? Are you giving them tasks?
I am actually doing the Dental Practice Pro. I haven't got to that just yet. I haven't delegated. It's funny because I just got that last 2 months, and I was in the process of actually going over that with the most promising team member I had to delegate some things to her, and it just never happened. But I go actually on those reports myself. It's fantastic. One thing it does, it actually keeps track of your unscheduled patients, keep track of very simple to follow reports, and it does give you actually your appointment book. The only caveat with it is you can't really put patients with that, but you can see the patient's schedule with that. So if you need to, make appointments and put them on the books, you can make notes in the portal, and then you can, as a owner, you can just take a look at the notes and put the patients in actual Dentrix if you don't want to give them a direct access to Dentrix to your employee.
Sure. So you may have part-time work for your team during this time. That's another thing you're saying too, right there.
Yes, especially with unscheduled appointments. There's one report that actually just gives you unscheduled appointments. It gives you all the patient's contact information, what they are treatment planned for. It's very comprehensive.
Yeah, we had the unscheduled treatment plan report, similar to that in Dentrix.
Yeah, but this way you can give this access to everybody, and you don't have to at this time try to teach things that you never taught them. All of those are in a click of a button. You can go down the list, and it's fantastic. I love it, and I actually, quite frankly, used it to negotiate my insurance fees this last month. So it gives you a very nice demographic of what insurances you get, and then you can by the help of your negotiator, actually do some good with it.
Wow, Tara, this is a good information. So that's Dental Practice Pro.
Yes,
right?
it's the acronym for that is DPP. Very accommodating. The contact guy is called Todd Cohen, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, if you like, I can take a look at and share the contact info with you guys, and you can all call him up and say, hey, you heard of it? I don't know, on a dental podcast.
You just say you referred them. That would be good.
Yeah, if you want to. I'm not seeking anything.
Some 3 months if you refer them.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He will set you up. They have a fantastic demo, and so I think at this time it makes the most sense to delegate without having to give your password to all of your employees and have them all sign up at the same time and to log me in, because that will become a lot of crowding if you want to give 6 or 7 accesses. This way you can actually follow their progress as well.
This is very helpful. So
I have a question. I wanted to get your opinion, Rinesh, on one thing.
Sure.
If we have our team work on unscheduled patients, for example, how far out would you recommend actually scheduling them? Because we don't really know. And it's a lot of work to go and change appointments again.
Yeah.
So,
I would say at least go a month out, 6 weeks.
6 weeks out. Okay.
Yeah, I would go 6 weeks out, because the reason why, if you go 2 weeks out, by the time you find out, you get more clarity, maybe it's a weekend, then it's a shuffle. If you go at least 6 weeks or 2 months, then at least you leave yourself a buffer to reschedule if you have to. And it also gives them some more time if you have to cancel on them, you know? I hate to say this is, you know, things are gonna be closed for 2 months. I don't think so. It's so hard to guess this, but I would say do 6 weeks. Anyone else could chime in with any other perspective on this as well. Has anybody started started scheduling unscheduled treatment plans? Has anyone done that?
Yes.
Please chime in.
How are patients responding to that? I'm curious. Like, is it like appropriate to try and do that? I mean, what is their response, or what are you hearing when they try to do that?
Well, let me tell you one thing on this, and Tara, you can chime in, or anyone can chime in whenever, but
Okay.
if you have an unscheduled treatment plan and you are gonna get them and talk to them, I would incentivize them to book in the future, but you have to incentivize them to book in the future. And one of the reasons also that you like confirm that booking in the future is because saying, look, we are closed right now for all these XYZ reasons, but when we reopen, we are gonna have an influx of appointments that are taken. So we wanna make sure we get time slots reserved for our in-house patients already. You being one of those, we wanna get you in and get you booked off on that Thursday or Friday. And yeah, maybe we can reschedule if you need to, but let's get you booked in. And I think let's get them confirmed. I think that's one way to kind of pitch it. Another way is also alongside that, I would also figure out what is like a in practice or in office kind of incentive for them to do that. I think that's something that you have to come up with for the in-office incentive for them to pre-book. In addition to this, you know, you're not going to have bookings available.
I have one idea for your virtual consults for the new patients when they're calling. If they don't happen to have an insurance, I would incentivize them with your like in-house membership program. So if you have a means of having them pay, for example, I use Clear. They're a fantastic company. So I can actually redirect them to go to my website and sign up for it and incentivize and say, if any additional family member signs up, then we'll give you additional amount. You know,
and that's your in-house membership program?
It's called Clear, K-L-E-E-R. I use that to set up my, I already have set up my membership program. And so it's very fantastic as to they set up everything for you and give you all the marketing material. All you have to do literally is to set it up with your website. And this is going to be the best 3 weeks or a month to set this up, because it does have some setup time. And then while you're at it, you can actually give your website portal. I created another page, and then I redirect all of these patients from my website just to go and set up. Once I do, then over the phone, in fact, I just sold one yesterday. Just waking up, someone called had triage that sent the patient to the endo. I said, you don't have insurance. Once the endo is done, go ahead to my website, set up, pay for this membership. And as soon as everything just, settles down, then you're already a member of mine. And then you can go ahead and get 30% or 25% off of your treatment right off the bat. So.
Wow. You're a rock star, Doc.
I don't know. I get creative once in a while, but
this is really good. This is really good. I would personally love to hear more about this, because
you can check my website out. It's called artistadentistry.com, and I've set up something that pops up right away. And when it does pop up, all they would have to do is to click the button, and it takes them exactly where I wanted them to go.
Okay, so I want everybody here to see this, because I think this is going to be really helpful. So these are patients that are not insured, and you get them enrolled in your in-house dental membership plan through a web portal. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so can we look at your site?
Yeah, sure. artistadentistry.com. So it's artist with the E at the end. It's actually an E at the end. Yeah, dentistry.com.
Excellent. Okay, beautiful site. So
the pop-up is not coming up, and I'm not so sure why. There it is. So then you can claim the offer. You can put your phone number. You're basically getting everybody's info here as well.
So let's say you populate your phone number.
Yep. You don't even have to do it through this. You can just go on my menu and click it too. But one way or the other, it actually makes you claim the offer.
Interesting. And then you claim the offer.
Yeah.
You agree to be contacted, whatever, and you claim offer. And it goes in here, almost done. Your first name. Do you mind if I fill out a name?
Not at all.
Okay. I think this is going to be really helpful because now these are your uninsured patients who don't have insurance, and we have you covered, and then you join. So it goes to the clear site, right?
It goes to the clear site. If you scroll down, you can see, you can learn more, and then you see I have different tiers here.
And these are specific to your office?
Yeah, this is specific to my office, and then you can take a look at the details. I give incentives to family members, and now you can incentivize even more if they just basically become yours member. You don't even have to be in the office. This gets done automatically.
Wow. And then what happens with Clear? How much of this do they keep? What's their pricing?
Well, if you do it through Clear, I think for each one, they may, it depends on which plan you pick. It's like $30. I wrote this down. I don't know exactly. It's 20 something for children, 30 something for the adult. And then for perio is maybe 40. Okay. You know, I do a mix of both. If I'm selling this over the phone, we do it through the website. But if the patient is already in the office and we're presenting it, we'll just collect it in the office. And you don't have to pay them monthly or anything. As long as you're selling it, they get piecemeal.
So a piece of that monthly they get?
Yeah, well, no, it's not even monthly. I do not want to do it monthly because they may end up getting a bunch of stuff and then decide they don't want it anymore or their credit card doesn't go through. So I would advise just to do it annually, period. So
excellent.
Do not give a monthly option because if they end up, you give like 30% off of your crown and they've already come and gotten it, and then all of a sudden they, put a stop on their credit card, then that's done. This is another Amazon concept too. So once they become a member through online, they keep track of everything. So they actually make the payments through the portal. They also have the merchant processor, and the amount goes directly to your bank, like you were talking about the other merchant that works with Calendly, which is Stripe. This is and their fees are very, very nominal as well. With that, I actually use something called Singular Pay, and I don't even pay any interest, and it's on my website too. All they do is to go through that, and I actually deflect the interest on the credit card to the patient, and no one has a problem with that.
Interesting. Oh, love that. Love that. So this is great. I have a feeling that I'm going to have to do another session with you on this.
Be my guest. I would love to. We can collaborate.
I would love to kind of dig into this because I like this idea of, because there's a whole market of uninsured patients. And like, have you ever ran ads or done marketing to have people join on one of your plans? Just curious.
Well, I'm in the works with a vendor called the Referizer. And the issue I'm having with them, they're having glitches integrating with Dentrix. That little pop-up that you saw is part of what 1/100th of marketing that they do. It's extremely affordable. And then if you refer other dentists in the program, it gets to a point that their whole platform is going to end up being free for you. It depends on how you're referring and how much you're referring. So you can actually get into contact immediately with all of your small businesses in your area and then refer back and forth to each other. And then they will actually keep track of all the patients that come in and complete their appointments. And once they actually do, they incentivize it by a loyalty program. So you can set up points and how to set up loyalty programs, and it keeps track of everything. And they also keeps track of referrals. And did you see that pop-up that today came? That is how they actually start marketing. And everything will end up going viral with Facebook, and you can put all of that everywhere. I am in the works with it, and I'm actually the very first dentist who's doing this. So we're trying to integrate Dentrix with their program so that I don't have to manually, keep track of who came in, because they also have a Wi-Fi system where they can keep track of people who come in. But the problem is if the patient ends up going to the bathroom, it also comes down as they just entered your office. So you don't want to give them loyalty points for taking bathroom breaks.
Yes. Okay, this is good. So we're gonna. Preeti says, "What is the marketing?" She said, "I think this is not clear. Is there a separate marketing agenda that works for Clear, or is that part of their team?"
With Clear, they're doing their own marketing. You don't even have to worry about the marketing, really.
Okay. So I think you guys, this was very interesting. First of all, Tara, thank you for sharing this. I had no clue.
No problem.
So I feel like I am going to reach out to Dr. Mashiri and see how things are going with this, because I think a lot of our audiences, like our audience space, would really benefit from getting membership fees from patients that are not insured.
That's
would you guys like that? Yes.
And it becomes recurring. So you incentivize them to pay like a recurring, like Netflix and Amazon. It becomes a recurring thing. And, we all forget about our, payments every year. So we just get reminded once we take a look at our Visa or MasterCard statement. But by that time, the only problem I was initially having was keeping track of everything. And when I found Clear and I did my research, and I stacked it against a lot of other ones like Boom Cloud, and there are multiple of them out there. This actually is the best of the best, the creme de la creme of the membership programs.
What was the reason why you didn't do it like Preeti's saying, like in your own in-office plan?
I am still doing that, but the problem is it's keeping track of who paid and who didn't. And now all of a sudden,
scale it. You can't.
How do you scale it? And then if they come back, like let's say 3 months later, then when their for example, their membership is up, do you still charge them for that 3 months that they didn't really come, or do you prorate it? And this was what my battle was. So with a Clear, if you get reminders with the emails that it's time to renew, and if you don't really cancel it, it's going to keep having these patients renew it automatically. And the odds are a lot of people are still want to come to your office, and they're not going to say, I wasn't there for the last 3 months, so I want my money back. But you as an owner have a problem trying to collect the 3 months that they actually didn't come in.
That's not your business. I totally get it. So this is awesome. I think that we'll definitely have a training on this, because I think I've been looking for a while. I know there's some doctors in our community that they have these in-house plans, but I even had a doctor, he's doing like 10K through it a month. And if it's done well and it's done systematically, and you don't have to keep track of it, or your front desk doesn't have to keep track of it, then it's a win-win situation. Yeah, it's a win-win. So I would love for you to get me connected with someone at Clear. And sure. Then we can obviously, acknowledge that you referred that, you connected that. Because I would love to see if this is really as good as like you're pretty excited about, even though you're starting. We can actually help get this out to more dentists as well, because I know from like 30 to 40% of the patients don't have insurance a lot of times. At least it's 40 to 50 right now in the US. And if you can insure them in your own plan, that's the best way to go, right? Versus discount plans. This is going to win over all of the discount plans. Awesome. Love it.
Well, here's another huge benefit to that too. If you ever get down to the point where you're going to sell your practice, the multiple you get for having a recurring revenue stream like this is
Yes.
very, very, you know, your whole practice gets valued completely differently if you actually have a serious revenue stream from this.
Oh, yeah. Now you're like a recurring revenue business, right? They get valued at
Exactly.
way more multiples.
Yeah.
Very good point, Dinesh. So this is awesome, guys. And look at, I mean, I want to just point out, like, obviously, I wish more of you would collaborate. And I know Tara and Dinesh have really put out some good nuggets here. But this is the value of masterminding, collaborating, like just, you know, on things come out of this, right? Things come out of this. And if you're off for 3 weeks, there's so many things you do. Or if you're off for a month, get your systems in place, get your office manual in place, get things like this in place, you know, where, you know, I'm learning as we go here too. This was incredible, where if you can send out an email to your database and encourage them to get on an in-office plan, you're literally now generating revenue from an email, and you're getting patients indoctrinated to your plan. So they're now more involved with your business. A, they're not going to go anywhere else. B, they're going to utilize their plan and come in. So there's so many wins here with this. And I just, like, that's a win. So those of you that are not thinking that way, and now hopefully you can kind of see that a lot can happen with this.
And in the office, so if you want to give a piecemeal to your front desk who's selling it, incentivize them even half of what you're giving to Clear, and they will sell it like hotcake for you.
Yeah, and that's a recurring for the practice. So that's excellent. Are you at a pretty good size recurring revenue with them, or are you just starting off?
Well, I haven't really gauged it, but I can say honestly, 30 to 35% of my patients have this membership program.
Ooh, that is awesome.
And you do not want to call it an in-house discount program or an insurance, because then you get into a whole can of worms of having to go through the state and, you know, registering it and all of that stuff. So you call it either a loyalty program or a membership program, never a discount in-house or an insurance name on it.
Yeah. And those terms are so 1980s.
Yeah, but then if you do, then you become a insurance. Then you have to go by all the rules of how they want you to literally operate under.
Yeah, no, 100%. Great way to look at it. Great advice. I thank you so much for that. And
No
you
problem.
can even DM me in the chat, send me a private message, and I will connect with you on that. I would totally appreciate
Sure, I will right now.
your contact info. So, because I know that will be really helpful, and I've been looking to get something like that out there, because like that's low-hanging fruit for the database. Like I always look, what people buy are your patient records. Well, a lot of patient records are not monetized in many ways. A, patients don't come in and get unscheduled treatment done. B, they're uninsured patients, and you can get them on a plan and you can monetize that way. And when you monetize that way, you also encourage future treatment starts that way too. So really good, really good. Awesome, Tara, got that. Let's see, this is great. So far, and I'm gonna do this. Let's do this here. Let's see, I wanna unmute. You guys let me know that we've been on this for a couple hours. There's still a huge group of us. Let me know, how has this been so far? I'm gonna unmute everybody. Give me some energy. Let me know what you think.
Fantastic.
So let's see, we're on. Oh, hold on a second. Let's see. Bam. All right, so we're on a group session online. How has this been? How has this been tonight? How has this been? We have so many of you logged in. What do you guys think?
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Takeaways. Yes. No.
Bonus points.
Awesome. Thank you.
Super.
Great.
Thank you. Awesome. Very helpful.
Awesome.
So You got it.
No, there are other people in this together with us in these times.
Yes, I see Tammy there. Tammy, how you doing, Dr. Fender?
Awesome. Thank you. It was great.
Oh,
Very
you
informative.
guys, I feel like we can just keep going.
Great stuff.
Do you have anything else? Let me mute. Okay, you guys can unmute. So, does anybody have anything else to, like any other contributions? I'm okay staying on for a little bit more. If you guys have something, it's here. I'm here for you guys. Tomorrow every Wednesday at 1 p.m., I do our mastermind calls with our members. Those are the same ones that you get access to the courses, the programs, and we do our mastermind calls. So I'll be doing another call Wednesday afternoon with offices and everybody in our group. You guys are more than welcome to join. If it's for you, go to drgmastermind.com. Take me up on it. It's only $97 a month, and it's going to be something awesome for you guys to dig into as you have time off and time to really work on your practices. I would say, and here's the thing, if you are not focused on growing, then if you're contracting in this economy and saying, you know what, I'm going to focus on failing, it's going to contract. If you're focused on growth, you're going to see that next vision. Like, I'll give you an example. You see Dr. Moshiri, she's talking about membership plans. I didn't even think of that, okay? So there's so many things and avenues and nuggets that can come out of things like this that can help you grow and get to that next level. And so you're doing things differently. It's not the same thing all the time. It's like, what can I learn? Maybe I can learn some of my marketing. Maybe I can now market and drive traffic to those membership plans. That's a whole other game, right? Maybe I can go in there and start thinking about, okay, maybe I can drive traffic to my website and get people that are uninsured into a plan into my office, right? So we teach the marketing in dental domination. We teach case acceptance in the case acceptance program. There's a whole monthly curriculum laid out for every month, right? And we got all the bonuses in there, all the funnels, it's in there. So if any of you are going to join me for that, I would do that tonight. We have our next call tomorrow, Wednesday, and then you'll get access to the internals of the program. Some of you had texted me asking what that looks like. It's this right here. Where is it at? Add it up here, somewhere here. Here we go. So this is that one. Let me pull it up here. Let me pull it up for you to see. And while I'm pulling this up, if anyone has questions, post them into the chat or unmute. We would love to talk to you, okay? So I'm going over into the course library. You can check that out. That's where we would collaborate. That's where we keep in touch. I go live every Wednesday for our group. And if you see here, it is, I see a lot of you are already in it. I will be putting new training in there about doing virtual consults, about using Zoom, about using Calendly. I'm going to be putting that inside the course library. And you get access to these programs, right? The monthly program, case acceptance, dental domination, which is fully how to run your ads, how to run your marketing online. Let's dive into this stuff, right? In the monthly alone, I mean, there's bonuses, funnels, approaching call reminders, cancellations. I have trainings and all this that you or your team can watch. Month one curriculum. Every month I lay out a brand new curriculum on this. And then of course in the marketing course, I have everything laid out in here in dental domination where I give you your marketing funnels too, okay? So how to set up audiences inside of Facebook, how to do Instagram, how to build warm audiences around your office to drive traffic, how to do conversions, how to get people into your practice with the funnels I give you. It's all in there. And then we meet every Wednesday at 1 p.m. with either you or your team members, whoever it is. But we have hundreds of offices in this program and they love it. So if this is a chance, an opportunity you have to get in, get in. Just $97 a month, and I think you'll love it. So I want to put that out there as something that you can have access to as well during this time. And I think it's going to be super helpful as we kind of navigate through this with everything. So let me see. Let's go back into the chat and let's see. Preeti says I was part of the program before. Do I need to sign up again from the start? Preeti, just sign up, and then wherever you were before, we would just start you off. And since you before, I have added more courses into that program. So you're going to love it. You get case acceptance. The marketing course is all new. You get my funnels. I'm giving you literally so much, thousands of dollars worth of programs and courses. And now recently what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing training on some of the virtual concept, the virtual consult aspects. So how do you set up Zoom? How do you set up Calendly? We're going to be going over that. So your team can set that up. They can watch some of these trainings. And then, of course, you have access to me every Wednesday in our group collaboratively, Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific. And if you miss any of those calls, I keep them recorded inside the portal, okay? So it's a no-brainer. At $97 a month, you get everything on that. So there's no contracts, any of that stuff. So look into that. Amy says, how much a month? Yes, it's month to month, Amy. It's $97. You can cancel anytime. There's no, strongholds or any catches on that. And just go to drgmastermind.com. It's here in the chat. Just sign up. You'll see it. All the details are in there on that page. If you don't have office manuals, if you don't have any of that, we do offer our manual, and you can use that as a template. But that's later. You'd have to pay for that. But for the $97 a month plan, you get access to all those programs, which I showed you. But go to the page. You can read more about it and get it in there. Would love to keep in touch with you on that. And like I said, we have hundreds of offices in that. They love that program.